Hello everyone. Today we are going to see on how to consume and proxy the SOAP weather services. So I'm sorry. We are trying to do is consume and produce or proxying the SOAP weather web services. So in this process, what exactly means proxying? Proxying means something we are trying to change the address of the services from where we are consuming to something different where we are hosting the services. So this is called the proxying. So if you are ready, then let's get started with the coding. Before we get started with the coding, we also need to find the right WSDL file or the SOAP services which we need to consume. To proxy a service, we just first need to consume it, right? So here I have a nice services, SOAP weather web services. I'll provide this link down in the details of this video, description of this video. So here they have also provided a basic interface to interact with the SOAP weather web services. So when I click on this, it gets cities by country, and if I enter a country name here and click on invoke, it will get me all the cities in that particular country. So what we are trying to do is consume them. To consume a particular weather web service, we just need to append $WSDL, and it will give you the entire WSDL file. So you don't need to copy all this file, all these details. You just need to copy this and go to the Eclipse Java application, and I have already created a dynamic web project over here, and go to the new and other and click on the SOAP or client. So here it will give you the web services client. Go in there and just give it the WSDL file location and click on finish. It will generate you the following folder over here, which contains the global weather, Java, and five files, Java files. These are all the stubs and skeletons which we got from consuming the SOAP weather web services. So after getting them, we need to write a code to use those services. So what exactly does this services contain? It is a little bit of information which are directly connecting to the services, and it gives all the method names, so that we can pass the city name and country name in a method and get the results, and just providing the country name as we just saw in the website, just providing the country name and getting all the cities. So we will try to develop both the services, both the methods on how to consume them and proxy them. Okay, so to do that, don't touch the any code of this consumed files. We'll write a new different controller, which I have already written here. So this is a servlet actually. Create a new package, or you can even create them in the same package too. So here in the service I have two packages. One is my own developed Java files package, and one which is consumed. This entire structure is been already predefined, and it's already it's the way it's consumed. Okay, so here I'm making a project called demo and creating a servlet. How to create a servlet is really simple. Click on new and click on the servlet over here, and you just mention the package name, which I mentioned as demo after the source. So that is how you create, and when the servlet is created, delete the entire code from the main class to do post. We don't really need any of those methods in the do post. Make sure you will write the following codes. Okay, here we have the parameter called country, and that we are taking from the URL. So request from the request, so it's request.get parameters of the country, and we'll just display that in the console. This you don't really need to write this step, but it's all up to you for the confirmation. And then saving the particular string into the session, request.getSession.set attribute. This is how we set. So before this, we also need to have a web interface to interact or proxy these services. So here in the project, you go to the web content, and there you can find a index.html by default. So try to make use of that file. So here I have put a form and method as post, because here we are using the do post, right? Do post method. So, and a small lines of code for the HTML, just two buttons which really map to two different HTMLs. Okay, so it is the index.html, which by default will be invoked as soon as this web service starts, when the server starts. That you can configure even in details in the web.xml, which I really didn't touch that part, but I can still provide the code for you for the cross checking. So don't worry about that right now. And so when next configure the city.html, so it's like when a person clicks on this guest cities, then it will redirect to the city.html. So let me show you on how the city.html looks. This also really a 15 lines of code HTML, just contains the form action which maps to the front controller, that is the servlet we just talked about. We are just so, and a h1 tag, and also a input field to grab the country name, and a submit button to submit and proceed to the following controller. So when a person clicks on in a particular country name and clicks on submit, it will redirect to the controller and process. It will grab the country name from here, that is a request. So it will shave into the session and redirects to the city2.jsp. So let me show you on how city2.jsp looks. City2.jsp is something which outputs the results which we just consume. So this is how it looks. I will put in this code in the description below this video, and so that you can just have a look and make sure you're doing the right code without making any minor mistakes. So this is how we output. I'm using a try block, and this is like a JS stuff, JSP, right? This is not HTML, JSP. So this is how we output the content in the JSP. And there here we just talked entirely the entire cycle of get cities. There is also a other button called get weather. So what happens when a person clicks on get weather? It will redirect to the weather.html, which I have written here. So the weather.html is really a few lines of code which asks a user to enter the country name and city name to get the weather services, to show the weather in that particular city. So after person enters these two fields and he clicks on the submit, this will redirect to the action over here, that is the front controller 2 servlet. So let's go to the front controller 2 servlet over here, and we are just grabbing the two parameters, request.get parameter country and city, and we are saving that into the session. So this is how we do for every for every field. We take the inputs in the following way, and we save it in the session and send it to the next part of the flow, that is getting weather.jsp. So you might already expected the results that weather.jsp will be the output of the entire content, that is the output of this weather web services city, or by consuming the city name and the country name. And this is also is just like before I've shown the simple try blocks to output the entire XML file or the output results. So this is pretty much the program contents. This really takes hardly 30 minutes at maximum to consume the weather service and proxy them. So after developing the entire code, you just right click on the project and run on server. Make sure you're already configured the Tomcat or any server, web server. And if you didn't save any files, it will just pop up if you want to save, and make sure you save that. and see, we have proxied the service. Let me quickly give you a small demo. When you click on get cities and enter the country name and click on submit, it will hit the real services and give you the output in the following way: all the city names. Beautiful, isn't it? And if we go back and click on the get weather and enter the city names, and it will give you the output. Actually, the data is really not present in the services, so that is the reason it failed to get the data. I can show you here. So if we click get weather and click city name as and the country name as, and when you invoke, they haven't hosted any data for this service, so data is not found. Don't worry about that. It is really the output which we are expecting, so that is not a problem. It's the service which they fail to represent the data. So actually we are getting the data. So this is how pretty much you consume and proxy the weather web services. I will definitely provide all this code in the description below this video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Jyoti Kiran signing off. Bye guys.